Good day, and welcome to Far Reaches. We are four people from similar parts of the world who have wound up chasing different dreams and living different lives. We are Richard, Raleigh, Joel, and Micah. Richard and Micah are from Southeast Oregon, from two small ranching communities known as Pine Creek and Plush. Raleigh and Joel are from Northeast Oregon, from the Pendleton area. We met through college, mutual friends, and heard of stories of each other. Somehow wound up being at the same place at the same time. See, we live and work in different parts of the U.S. now and have all taken different paths to get to where we are. We all talk separately and live far apart. So we decided we should try and talk more together. We hope you come along and enjoy.
Whatever you are.
And good day to you. How your mom and them? Welcome to Far Reaches. Yes, that's some Willie you hear in the background. It's great for our pre-call strategy meeting, which lasts all of about 13 seconds. We just kind of hang out and chat for a few minutes, wait for everybody to come online, and we were jamming to some good tunes. So we don't get sued. Not that even Willie knows who the hell we are. I'll probably fade that out like a professional, or as close as I can get to anyways. Welcome to Far Reaches Podcast, kids. Once again, we thank you for joining us. I'm Micah. Today with me, we have Richard and our special guest as hostess, Miss Amy McNamee. Raleigh is still on parts unknown. Mr. Joel had to poop. And I say that because he left me a voicemail that said, "Who does number 2 work for?" And I thought, that's all I need to know. That poor guy's up to something. Yeah, so we're going to kick it off. Rawls will hopefully jump in a little bit later. If not, we'll make shit up about him. That's fine. That's what we do. That's kind of what being part of the Reachers is all about. So thanks for joining us. You know, we're found everywhere on the YouTube and all your traditional podcast platforms, if you will. If you happen to have a podcast platform that you listen to and we're not on there, let me know. It might be like some pirate radio station out of Russia. I don't care. We'll figure out a way to get there. Or why don't we just convert you to one of our other platforms? Because let's be honest, if you're hearing this, you're doing it somehow. So we're on the YouTube. We're everywhere you can be. We're brought to you this week and pretty much every week by our super good friends at B&K Auto Salvage in the Grand Ronde Valley, just south of La Grande and downtown historic Baker City. So stop in there, code REACHER, I think is still working for you all. So you get a little discount on those parts you might pull. And they also give you a little bump in that scrap price in the right direction, I might add. Somebody accused us of bumping their prices down. I said, negative, goat rider. We bumped the prices up. So welcome. Thank you very much. Aim, how you doing?
Pretty darn good.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you for coming back. Amy had some great suggestions this week, a couple smart-ass comments, and I'm like, well, you know what? Why don't we just throw you on here and see what happens anyway? So, you know, it worked out especially good since Joel's not here. We needed the feminine point of view. And so I think you might be a little more masculine, but it's okay. We'll work through it. Yeah. So
Poor Joel.
For Joel. Yeah, anytime I can insult two people at the same time, I'm going to have to take that chance.
I'm really worried with the three of us. This is going to be way too left-leaning.
Definitely. Yeah. We need that. Drive a stake in the ground now so we don't get too far out there. Yeah. So sweet baby carrots. Yeah. So Rawls, if you're listening, when you get down there, just ping us and I'll try to let you in the room. So we'll start this week like we do every week with our weekly update, or as we call it, the reach around. So Amy, since you're our guestess of honor, would you like to start off with kind of a weekly update? Give us a little insight what's going on in your twisted world.
Oh my gosh. Banking.
Nice.
Lots of banking.
Banking, good.
Getting out
Good.
all kinds of government money to people.
Yore.
And, you know, your normal spring stuff. I think we're going to spend a day working cows and another day branding calves this weekend. So
It is
hopefully
April
get some rain and can turn out.
Yeah, rough.
Yep.
Yeah. You can bank on that. Yeah. Richard, what are you doing?
I fell off my Facebook Be Nice to People wagon.
Yes, I knew if I could drag you back in, you would fall victim to the, yeah.
So other than working cattle and dealing with broke down trucks, I decided that I would write a nice positive post on LinkedIn today, which I promptly shared with the Regenerative Agriculture group on Facebook, and I'm now perilously close to being kicked off that group. So,
Was that what you won with 5 things to do for the beef industry?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it degraded in Facebook. I called a guy a lemming, and apparently that's against the rules. So.
Did somebody else explain to him what a lemming is? Like, that's the only way he should be offended, I suppose. Yeah.
No. Anyways.
Wow.
But, yeah. I just don't have the temperament for social media, apparently.
I love it. We got to keep pushing the envelope, though. I don't think many of us really do. We just don't say it in a way that people hear us, or we.
The funny thing was, same group last week. Jake Spoon.
Yeah.
From LeGrand. How do you pronounce his last name?
Sievert.
Yeah. He was complaining, and he almost got kicked off. Anyways, same
group.
Yes.
Oh wow, Spoon.
Anyway, he thought it would be nice to bring a little bit of. Normally, it's this group where the people ask like, "I just got 10 acres. I want to make it regenerative. Can I plant? What can I plant?" So it's that kind of stuff, and they tend to steer away from any controversial agriculture type of discussions. Anyways, so I helped him out a little bit on that one, and I don't know if he ended up getting kicked off or not, but anyways, these new people that are joining the agricultural world are, let's say, sensitive.
Okay, then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, interesting. I mean, I really enjoyed your post on LinkedIn. I hadn't followed it to the Facebook side. And it sounds like some of your follow-up might have been what rubbed some fur backwards, but that's too bad. Yeah. So
completely divergent. I get a kick out of the different platforms.
Oh yeah. I don't know what's going on over there at your place. It keeps getting light and dark. Like now it's light again. Yeah. I think it's when you move away, it adjusts. Yeah. Or it might be the basking glow of your monitor.
My cousin from Washington, D.C. has slowly been coming back to the family ranch. And her son moved here to go to school at Lakeview, and our house is the closest. So he just walked up the driveway, got honked at, and turned around and walked back. So typical day at the Bradbury household. So
chaos is pretty much the standard, I think. It always draws me back. Yeah.
Yep. So anyways, that's it's actually been a good week. So I was actually sort of looking forward to this podcast. So I am trying to think of what I need to visit about, what content I'm going to pick. So you guys will have to give me a lot of thinking time on.
Here's your topic. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I will give it though. You actually knew that you were up this week. I had forgotten it was you, so you're already one step ahead. Yeah. So for those of you playing along at home, you know, we communicate through the week, and I'm like, remember guys, like Richard's got the movie this week. It's blah, which means you have the word also, which always causes confusion. And so today I was like, hey, who the hell's got the movie this time? And finally Richard's like, it's me. I'm like, oh, thank you so much, good sir. Yeah. I don't have a spreadsheet or nothing because we always switch it around and somebody will be gone or whatever. So we just kind of make it work. Yeah. So let's see, my weekly update. Man, I live such a boring life at times. Had my friends, one of my ex-salesmen from another world lives close by. Actually, I stayed at his bunkhouse when I first moved to Florida. So him and his wife were gracious enough. They came to town and had Easter dinner at my hacienda. And so it was nice to get them out. They hadn't been out in a while either. And so they're like, oh, people, we get to go see people. And I guess for this special occasion, I even qualified as people. So it made me feel nice. But we had good classic smoked ham and some other accoutrement, and spent most of the day just hanging out. And they're really into plants and stuff, thank God, because I got all this crap going on in the backyard. And I'm like, I think that's a weed, because where I'm from, that looks like a weed, but maybe it's not a weed down here. So, just figuring all those things out, and stuff starting to grow and flower and bloom. And I got cactus and some palm trees, and they brought me a pineapple tree. It's not really a tree yet, but it's, it's in the smaller bush kind of stage, I guess you could say. But so yeah, I got that positioned in the backyard, and it's next to banana trees. So we got a whole fruit salad right off the porch. It's pretty handy. So just it was great to hang out and relax and just get a chance to thank them a little bit for putting me up all the time. They helped me. We threw all my crap into their stock trailer when I got my house and moved to town. And so the last time they were here, we were literally like camping in the front room. We got Italian food to go, and we're like hunkered around like a storage bin because I had like everything was just chaos. And so I was like, hey, welcome. This is what it looks like when a human almost lives here. So it was great to see them and get a chance to entertain a little bit and get some insight into the backyard. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. So not exactly earth shattering, but very fun. Yeah. I thought.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Not that I don't by any means stop the pool pictures, but
look at that. That's like
I could
Richard's so good with the
picture-
backhand.
I-
Like just
yeah. No, I could always see. There's a lot of people in Lakeview have been going to Mexico, and
Yeah.
they're posting beach pictures. And I think that I've now come to the conclusion that I can always pick a Lake County person out anywhere near water. Just a
From the glare.
discomfort with it.
it messes up the focus of the camera because it's just too much glowing white. It's like,
It's not because they have their Pardue construction hat on and are
What?
strolling down the beach either.
there's that. You got the Carhartt cutoffs, yeah. Like, these were all wore out below the knees anyway, and I just cut them off. Yeah. 'Cause done that. Yeah.
The real reason we didn't make it down in March is because I was a little concerned about seeing Jimmy at the pool.
We all would be. Yes. I do live on an approach thing to the airport. There might be helicopters and shit banking into the backyard with that little sunbeam just sitting out there. Like, plus you can only go outside for like, I don't know what, 30 to 45 seconds at a time. Then we'd have to shelter him and then put him back out because like build up a tolerance over the course of several days. Yeah.
Well,
I think
I guess you
NASA
could always wear his coveralls.
There's that.
I think NASA and SpaceX have a golden opportunity here to study the psychological effects of humans on a foreign surface for Mars. They can be prepared.
There's some great parallels. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Some great material there.
I dig it. Yeah. It's always entertaining. I love when people send vacation pictures too, especially when we know them and you know where they're headed to. It makes it even all the more entertaining to think about just all the chaos for them to get there. Oftentimes, just getting to the airport and through all that without getting arrested is quite a feat into itself. Yes, because my experience, anyways, most of us don't have much of a filter, especially when it comes around the security system. Like Denver International one time, we're traveling for school, and this is quite a while ago. I mean, like way before you worried about much when you went traveling. And so we're going through the security course. There's belt buckles, there's Copenhagen cans, there's, just a plethora of things that should not be going through security. And our good friend Damon, as he's known, goes through and he sets off all the alarms and stuff. And Pookie is on the other side and he turns around and goes, "Oh, don't worry about him. He's too stupid to be a terrorist." Like just yells it out across the whole Denver International, which that security area is massive, We're like, "Pookie, you can't say that even here. We can't say that kind of stuff." Like this would have been in 98, 99, somewhere in there, maybe 2000. Yeah. So every time I go through Denver, I think of Dedupe and Pookie and like, oh, he's too stupid to be a terrorist, which just slays me. So maniacs. Yeah. Maniacs.
It's amazing we survived that.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah. Or everybody else around us too.
That too.
Many a teacher probably definitely has some extra gray hairs or no hairs or hearing deficiencies or
Scarred
I
for
always
life
loved.
after a trip to Burns.
Oh, that's not. Don't even. You can't bring that one up. That was uncalled for. Just naked aggression against me. That's all that was. That's just uncalled for. Damn it, Janet. Yeah, that was.
We really brought in McNamee to knock you off your pedestal.
Somebody had to do it. Yeah, she's gonna go for the low blow. Yeah, that's.
Hey, that was.
I mean, it was entertaining. It really was entertaining. It was just like, what the hell are you yelling at me for? Like, sweet Jesus, man. Yeah, it was like, God. Okay, I gotta tell it real quick because everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? So, we had a field trip in college, and there's several profs and a bunch of us, and we're at the it was still called Squaw Butte, I think at the time, wasn't it? Is it still legally called Squaw Butte? We're at the Squaw Butte experimental range in that little bunkhouse, so we're hanging out there. And of course, we had a little fire outside, and some folks, some rabbit hunters, had brought some. I think statute of limitations is up now. So one of the people that was on the trip, their little brother brought some homemade out for us in the mason jar, So we got a little fire going. We're standing around shooting the breeze, and one of the professors comes up and is just like inflamed. He's like, "Put that fire out, and you go to bed." And it's like, we're just relaxing, like having a little fire, like calm down. So anyways, that night too, one of the other professors gets like super sick, like puking up toenails and stuff. So he and another student actually drive home from Burns back to LeGrand. Like he leaves. So there's one professor and about 18 of us or something like that. Something anyways. Yeah. And so I'm always on this guy's shit list as it is. I don't know why, really. I never really.
We all were,
especially. Yeah. So we're up hiking in the morning. We're going up this hill, and people are just freaking scattered out all over hell. And he comes up and gets right in my ass. Like, you going to get those people back down here or what? And I'm like, what are you yelling at me for? Like, if you want me to be in charge of something, that's fine. I'll go do it. But don't just come up and like jump in my ass because people are running up the hill. But like, he was incensed about the people come up like, hey, those guys, we didn't know who they were. They came up, they saw our fire. They were out hunting rabbits or something, I guess. They saw our fire. They came over, hung out for a bit. Yeah. So, maybe we shouldn't have had fire. I apologize. But yeah, he was just, he really needed to relax for one. Yeah. Because I'm like, I know the guys at the experiment station, they don't care if we have a little fire in the gravel. I think we're okay. Yeah. So, anyways,
I think he was more incensed that we were functioning at all that morning.
That's probably what it was too.
This
He should have known way better than that. We had other field trips where people were still visibly drunk in the morning when we picked them up for the field trip. Yeah, like Art and Ben, who almost yacked going up Catherine Creek. Like they're in the van going, "Hey, can you turn off the heater?" It's not on, man. It's not on. Yeah. But what I was gonna say before you went down memory lane of field trips was we had what was called the Ag Lounge in college, and there was 3 teachers had their offices right off the Ag Lounge back in the day. So we would gather in there, and we would be talking of various subjects. Usually start off with good intentions of a class or some kind of specific subject, and then we'd get a little derailed, a little off subject, perhaps, maybe some. Probably definitely sexual harassment now, just thinking what our conversations were. So there was like the 3 stages. We knew like we were getting a little too rowdy. Like the first one, Gary would get up and he'd close his door, Dr. Dirt. And we're like, all right, we're probably a little off track, a little loud, maybe whatever. And then 15, 20, 30 minutes go by and we're getting way off track and not good conversation. And poor Penny, she would get up, kind of give us a little look, and she'd close her door. And Andy was over in the corner, Dr. Huber. And like, it took a lot to get Andy to close his door. Sometimes he'd even come out and join in. But there was quite a few times when the conversation would get so far off in the ditch and definitely not work appropriate. Even Andy'd get up and close the door. And that's when we were kind of like, I think we might have went a little too far. Yeah. So that's what I thought about when you said that. Yeah.
I just wonder if kids in school have those same kind of experiences now. And
can't.
Do they? No, that's exactly it. It's kind of sad because that was what we all got out of school. It wasn't that we were being stupid, but you were building those neat relationships.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, that was my first job out of college, and I was working for the cattlemen. They're like, "You're just driving around and seeing all your friends." And I'm like, "It's not my fault that one of them works for a congressman, another one works for this bank, another one works for Fish and Wildlife, another one this one has this ranch." I'm like, so in essence, yes, that's
Yes,
also why you hired me. So
They are where I'm
you
at.
should be paying. Yeah, you should be paying me more for my contacts.
yeah, when's the last time I had a hotel room? Like, you think about like,
Mhm.
yeah, bottle of whiskey, but that was about it. So, the bitches. Anyways, I didn't know the hell we were going with that. Jesus, Amy, you got us off track already.
Don't blame me. I'm the new
Of course,
kid.
I'm going to naturally, yeah. But it's just Richard and I and Joel and Ball. Like, it's just we're right down the line. We always stay on topic. It's very timely,
Right.
concise.
Started with your pool.
Yeah, you didn't even finish
Yes.
that thought. Uh-oh. Boss is
Sorry.
calling. Damn it, Janet. We'll put it on mute so we don't know all your Swiss bank account numbers and shit. Not that I'd write those down or nothing, but I could rewind it later on and probably hear them. Yeah,
If you find them, let me know what they are, please.
sure.
Probably
I think
write them
there's-
down in the wrong order.
There's a niner in there. Yeah, nice. Oh,
Yeah.
that was a low blow too. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. We should skip ahead. Let's go on to our next segment called the entertainment spotlight. And I picked this last one, and it was actually a pretty short deal. It was about a 30-minute YouTube video from a really snappy titled "This Week in Virology" interview back in December 9th, 2019 is when this was done. And it's Peter Daszak, Daszak, is actually the person being interviewed. And I chose this, and in the first 20 minutes or so, we were even sort of like ancillary to the last part about it. But what it boils down to is he's talking about some of the experiments that he and is doing around the lab that was at the Wuhan lab right there in the China, where a lot of people think the Rona kind of came from. And so I did it for several reasons. I was just curious if it would actually, if people started looking at it, if it would stay up on YouTube or not, because it's like, this is right before all this shit came off the rails. And he's talking about all the things they were doing there. And it's like a virology podcast. And yet, as far as I know, it's still up. So I wanted people just to hear it and talk about like the kind of just how cavalier this guy was about what they were doing and where they were at and all this, and the kind of where even how some of the funding flowed. Obviously, he's a U.S. person. There's U.S. funds coming through him as well for some of this stuff. And so I thought it really interesting. It's quick and easy to listen to. I don't know if anybody else got a chance to or listen to it or not, but I just thought it was, I was actually surprised it was still online, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Richard, did you listen to it?
Yes, I did.
I did not have a chance to listen to it. Like
Oh, grr. Richard, I think you
I
muted
know.
yourself. Yeah. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
I listened to it. I think I'm going to add Virology Today to my podcast rotation.
I don't blame you. I have it on my watch list. Yeah.
Actually, it was fascinating.
It was really interesting. Yeah. It was like I liked it. I mean, that's what struck me too. Is like, it's just so casual. Like, it's a dude and his laptop and they got the little curtain up in the back, and they're at some virology meeting in Singapore, actually, when it was recorded.
And totally open. I just thought it was interesting, given I thought maybe it might be the fact that the rest of the world news already has come to the conclusion that it came out of Wuhan, out of the lab, and it's only in the United States that we're struggling with this. And once again, this week, New York Times came out and denied that it could possibly have come out of the Wuhan lab. And Joe Rogan and Eric Weinstein were actually talking about it on their podcast on Friday, and neither of them believe it now either. So, I mean,
They don't believe that it came from there, or they don't believe the New York Times.
they don't believe the New York Times. That it's frustrated Joe Rogan to the point where, yeah, he's the only liberal guy I know that's struggling so hard just to retain that moniker when all of his actions and all of his beliefs say that he is dyed-in-the-wool conservative now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
full on libertarian, I'd almost say in some things.
yeah. Anyways, but I just get a kick out of him. He's so disappointed in the left. He just so desperately wants to be part of that club, but all his values say this can't happen. And but I think that we took away the same thing is just how nonchalantly they were talking about it. Like, yeah, duh, that's what we were doing here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's getting funded this way. We're doing these things. There's bats over here. Blah blah blah. Yeah, and I was just like, holy buckets. Yeah. And I really didn't think it would. I saw it on TV, and I'm like, oh, that's already taken down. It has to be. Then I brought it up for here. I watched it. Then I brought it up on this. I'm like, well, surely it's going to go away now. Not that we move the needle, but it's just like if anybody goes and looks at it, they have to be like, we can't have this. But there it is. Yeah. So I think great point about pretty much every other civilized culture in the world's like, this is where it came from, kids. It's not racist to say it that way. It's not whatever any of the xenophobic ips or whatever is. That's where it came from. So
I think the only thing open for debate is how much it was engineered.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which I think it was. Obviously, that's why it impacts some people so hard, and others it totally misses the mark. Doesn't that scream this is something that was made to you, or am I off base?
Sure. No, it is. It's insane.
Okay.
You know my opinions on the thing. It's a control.
That is a new Far Reaches mug or T-shirt. You know my opinions on the thing. That's just all it's saying. Yes. Can you see me with a big mug that says,
well, yes.
Well, you know my opinions on the thing. Really I think that's awesome. Yeah.
The Epic Times said that they call it the crowns, the little ball that they show you with the little
the classic Rona virus.
Well, it's even more refined than the classic like flu virus, the coronavirus, is because it has so many and they so perfectly fit into human cells.
Yeah.
And they're from a bat that supposedly was like in northern China, hundreds of miles away from the Wuhan lab. So there's no real possible way it could have been in the wet market there. And evolved from that. This is all stuff that I can't substantiate, but I've seen it on multiple things. And the other interesting thing is it has a receptor that is very similar to HIV. So what a lot of people think is that they combine HIV and this really super efficient COVID thing to make it super sticky. And Eric Weinstein was saying that they were growing coronavirus at Wuhan in human lung tissue. So
yeah, well, that guy mentions in that interview, well, it's a corona. It's really easy to manipulate and blah blah blah. That's one of the sentences that like just hit me right square in the forehead. He's like, yeah, those are easy to manipulate. It's a corona. And I was like, he just said it out loud because back then it didn't mean what it does now. Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly the using human lungs is to make it so that it is more so it evolves faster. What they do is they take a bunch of lungs and they do a bunch of different strains, and then they keep the ones that didn't reject the ones. So
they are very adaptive, and then they read the super one off of that, and yeah.
So I don't know.
It's just something to think about for sure, kids. Yeah, put your thinking up on, and do a little bit of research,
and maybe your grandchildren will know the truth
someday. That will have this; they can look back on it. Yeah, put it on the Christmas tree. Yeah. Amy's thinking about something real hard, but she's not going to say it yet. I can tell. Yeah.
maybe Richard's son will be shaming people for being corona deniers.
Is that R4 or R5? He's R cubed,
R3?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be R4. Yeah. Yeah. R4. Because you're R2. He's R3. Yeah. The son of R3 would be R4. Yeah. Little pirate. R4. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, if you haven't watched that yet, take a few minutes. Even if you want to skip ahead, like I think it's around minute 20, he really starts talking more about some of the stuff that he's doing. And I think that's where the statement of like, oh, it's a Corona, those are easy to manipulate and blah, blah, blah. So very cavalier, very open about it. I think says a little bit, it just kind of helps put another piece in the puzzle, if you will. So that's how I took it. I thought it interesting. So wanted to share and just get some exposure from that. So that leads us right into what a great time. I didn't realize how good this is going to tie together. So this is our intellectual moment of the week, brought to you by our supremely good friends at Pendleton Mixer and Cigar. Amy, have you ever been to Pendleton Mixer and Cigar?
I have not been to Pendleton Mixer and Cigar.
Well, I think we need to change
I'm
that.
missing out.
You need to roll on the door
Absolutely.
and say, "Good day, shopkeep. I'm with the Far Reaches." You'll get a nice swab in the back and probably a healthy discount, maybe even a cigar. Yeah. So they have all your fine spirit needs, also all any kind of mixing supplies and such you might need, paraphernalia, if you will. And then actually, I must say, a pretty decent selection of the cigars as well to go with all those spirits. So they're right there on Immigrant Street in downtown Pendleton. You tell them we sent you. So I've shifted this a bit in the past few weeks, more to just like a random topic for us to spurn about. And so my topic this week is really tied to several things, and I didn't even realize how well it's going to play in with the entertainment spotlight. But the intellectual topic or moment of the week is what happens when the media is caught lying. And a couple instances this week, we had we still have the kerfuffle over the Georgia voting law. And then most recently, we have the 60 Minutes piece on Governor DeSantis, which was horsepucky, to say the least. And so it's not the first time for sure, definitely not the last, but something to discuss out loud about what should happen or what does happen when we catch these people who are supposed to be reporting and providing unbiased insight in the happenings of our world, and you catch them just completely telling their story how they want because it fits the story they want to tell and not what's actually going on at all.
Well, I think more than that, how do you even tell? I mean, how do you not just assume that they are constantly lying? I mean, where is that line?
Precisely. They're not giving us any reason to believe them at all. So there's things that we can't easily verify that they tell us. And we're like, okay. There's other things like the Georgia law. Like it's on my screen right now.
Yes.
You can go read it. Like I've listened to the governor of the state talk about the differences in the law and what they did. And you hear experts on other channels. You hear, I hate to say this name with him, you hear President Biden, you hear Biden say, he's talking about you can't have water in line and you get polls close at 5 and this and that. And I'm like, that's an outright lie. Like all of those outright lies. And yet people are like, and it's like, and all the people being interviewed on, CNN played like this vaudeville blackface act. And they're talking about Jim Crow and all these other things. And they don't ever interview anybody from Georgia. They don't interview the governor. They don't interview any of the senators or anybody. They just talk amongst themselves and talk about how racist it is. And you're like, what are you people doing? Like, seriously, it's black and white. And then MLB jumps in the middle of it and we're pulling out the All-Star game and we're going to Colorado. Guess what? Colorado's voting laws are worse than Georgia's. I mean, what are you doing? But what can be done is there any way to punish these a-holes besides not listening to them any more than we already don't? But there has to be something where look, you're outright lying. What can we do about that?
You would have to stop the political rhetoric, though. I mean, they're pushing an agenda that's obviously being pushed by that side of the aisle. I mean, there's no way to stop it.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it just gets circumvented. I think that there's a real reason why podcasts are growing so fast.
Yes.
And like YouTube channels, I usually watch Scott Adams in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with everything he says, but I didn't watch the news always to agree with it.
Nope.
I don't agree with any of it now. I mean, it sort of comes back to that's why I think that podcasts are just like, I don't physically watch the news, but I know everything that you're talking about. I knew about the Georgia voting laws. I knew about the MBL. I knew about the coronavirus thing. I forget what else. Oh, I knew about President Potato calling Jim Crow, and I was like, that is completely out of context.
Oh, it's an insult.
Yeah.
Completely. Like, and of all people to talk about Jim Crow, that's some bitch. Like, dude, like, his history is atrocious. Like, if you want to talk about anybody actually racist, it's probably Joe Biden. But that's not really the discussion here. That can be on Grind Your Gears or something. But
I can't remember if it was Nisam Taleb in The Bed of Prometheus or in Anti-Fragile, where he was talking about how he consumes news. And this was, I think Anti-Fragile came out in 2014. Anyways, he's like, you don't have to watch the news. What's important will get filtered and disseminated to you. And then that's the purest thing of the truth. And his theory is it's all gets manipulated and what's important will rise. And that's why he never watched the news. He does a lot of other weird things too. But,
it's weird. It's just frustrating because if they're going to be that way, just admit like, hey, we're no longer your news source. We are going to be advocating for this political point of view. Like when there's all these great things that I think the governor did in Florida, and they took the complete opposite approach and tried to get him for playing favor to the largest supermarket chain in this part of the world, when everything else pointed to the fact, like the Democratic-led Florida Emergency Management Company is the one that said, let's use Publix because they're an average of 1.2 miles from everybody. So they did point out that all these seniors got vaccinated, the rates declining, all because it goes against what they're trying to pull for the rest of the country. And that's the saddest part too. Like, not only did they lie and cut things out of the interview, they didn't even tell any remotely part of the story because it goes against what they think should be happening. And that's just completely sad. It's angering as well. But because not everybody has the filter down approach, some people still sit down at 6 p.m. or whatever and listen to that shit and slurp it up with two hands and a big spoon.
I got to share this LinkedIn post from Jesse Randall. He's the guy that does Sweater.
Oh yeah, I don't know him, but we talk a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, he's very like-minded with us. But he had a great post that I'm just going to share it, and I hope I don't bore everybody. But when we had this conversation, I thought about it, and it's sort of about what I talked about and how we shouldn't. I don't think we should be too panicked about where media is going and everything, because I think capitalism is just too big not to pull it back. And he wrote, economics doesn't care about your political party. It doesn't care about your intentions. It eats bad policy for breakfast. It never sleeps or takes a holiday. It is merciless in its consistency. It only rewards those that learn its rules. It punishes the lazy and rewards smart work. It creates wealth when understood. It doesn't care about your idea. It will eat your startup for breakfast. He focuses on startups.
Yeah.
If you can only be manipulated, it can only be manipulated for short spurts. It eventually lays bare the manipulator's secrets. It is only harnessed by fair laws and enforcement. It favors not capitalism or any other ism, but applies itself aptly against the nature of artificial constraints placed against it. Its dynamics can't be changed because they are rooted in human behavior. It's the ultimate truth to understand how to create prosperity and bring it to the world's poor at scale. Anyways, I thought that was incredibly deep, and probably he has a lot of deep posts, but I think that might have been the best post he's ever done.
Love that one. I focus just on the first one about it doesn't care about your intention, because I think we all get way hung up on that. I think especially some other parts of the aisle, like, well, they tried, or you've got good intentions, but what have you done? Like nothing, and so that's the thing about it. Like I said, economics doesn't give a shit about your intentions. I thought that was my favorite, I suppose. I had a lot of good points in that, all those things he listed off, but that was the one that made me smile the most. And I like, I don't even go any farther than that. Harumph, Jesse, harumph. Yeah. Amy, do you follow Jesse on LinkedIn?
I don't. I am not as deep into LinkedIn as you guys are.
Oh,
I probably should start.
You should. I enjoy it. It's like Facebook for adults, really, who have businesses. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really. I mean, like Richard was talking at the beginning about all these, how things are accepted and looked at on different platforms. And I think
different platforms.
Yeah, there's some politics on there for sure, but most of it's just about there's a lot of life, a lot of business, a lot of thoughts, insights, people asking questions, people putting up their thoughts. I think it's pretty cool. Some people are not that interactive, or some people are kind of rude sometimes, but for the most part, I think it's okay. And, Richard might light a fire or two every once in a while, but it's pretty entertaining. Yeah.
You just have to get your bag of popcorn for that. What's that?
A lot of Bitcoin traders.
Yes, a lot of that's the constant. You get requests to people to join your network. And like, Forex, maybe Bitcoin. Yeah. I had some person like they wanted to connect, and I was like, no. And they're like, is it because I'm a woman? And I'm like, no, I don't give it.
No.
Like no. Like, oh yeah, you really convinced me to join your Bit Club now. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, that's your first response. Is
it because I'm a woman?
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, like how do I even know that? You're on LinkedIn. Like, how the shit would I know? Like, I could put up any kind of profile I wanted. Like, how do I know? I mean, I just laughed. I'm like, bye-bye. Yeah. So that's some of the randomness you have to deal with. But you do connect with great people too on there also, that I think expand your mind. And I learn stuff on there almost every day. There's trainings and stuff. There's workshops. There's all kinds of crap. Yeah. So I recommend it. It's part of my morning routine when I start up my work computer. It's email, calendar, Salesforce, LinkedIn, and then I spend some time there, and then I go back to the other crap. Yeah. So I'm saying. Yeah. Speaking of work and that, Richard, how's your new monitor going, man? Let's talk about it.
My new monitor?
Yeah. Did you get like the big mega 38-inch wraparound Supreme?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
You're looking at it. I thought that might be, yeah.
Very good. Can I plug my new website?
Sure. Yeah.
Very excited. Got the
Beep. Oh, sorry.
got Ranch and Range all fired up, and just waiting for the domain name to transfer over, and got my first podcast guest lined up.
So it's called Ranch and Range. Is that correct?
Yep. Because the world needs another podcast.
Absolutely.
I love the new logo.
Well, yes, and thank you everybody for the help with that. It worked out in the end. I didn't know if it was going to come together, but I got my first guest lined up.
Yeah, who's your first guest? I was going to ask you who's your first guest. Chris Redmond.
Turner Ranches.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to talk about bison because, it's always fun to talk about bison.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's going to each guest's going to do a five question answer blog type thing.
Nice.
About what they do.
Oh,
they'll
perfect.
Be the same question. Yeah. So, anyways, when that all gets up and going, I'll expect some good feedback from everybody.
You could do like on what's the Actor Studio? Those same questions, like what's your favorite cuss word? And when you get to heaven, what do you hope St. Peter says? And remember those? James Lipton had those same questions for everybody. That was one of my favorite parts of all that. Like, what's your favorite cuss word?
My question, since it's going to be what I'm increasingly frustrated by is all the faux experts that are emerging in agriculture all of a sudden.
Yes, we need a good name for them.
Yes, I want to take some time and highlight people that have been in the trenches for a long time that don't necessarily toot their own horn, and their works and general philosophies, I think, should be out there more. And so I'm going to try and really shine a spotlight on people I consider true ranch experts. So that's the premise behind the podcast and the website. There's going to be some more actual written content on it, and looking for some people to write on that. But I think I got a few good ones lined up. So, anyways,
questionable.
Yeah.
What would you say is your target audience, Richard, for this podcast and website?
Well, I would say that maybe people that would read Western Livestock Journal, but want a little easier access. And also, originally it was set up to sort of hawk ranches, but it never worked out that way. But what I've seen in people that are interested in getting in agriculture is a complete lack of honest sources to go to. I mean, there's a lot of, but how do they filter it out? How do they know who's a salesman and who's just not? And I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but
take it easy on salesman there, Scooter.
No.
Speed salesman.
I'm giving you shit. I know exactly what you mean. I had to rattle your cage.
Yeah, there's I guess it's like the Pied Piper. There's a lot of Pied Pipers out there that are hurting everybody along, and then I think it's causing a lot of well, I'll just tell you what made me start thinking about this. Is there is a ranching sales group down in Southern Oregon, and I won't name what they are, but they basically go and they buy these huge tracts of land, and then they reimagine them and give them a name. They don't have any water, but they'll call them like Skyline Silvertip Trailed Ranch, and they'll really play into the romance of it. And then these guys are going to be, some of them are on the hook for like anywhere between $2 and $4 million, thinking that they bought a ranch.
Yeah.
And then they get
no water.
You bought some dirt, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no water. Yeah, no facilities.
Infrastructure. Yeah.
Sometimes they're trying to sell a place for $1 million that you cannot get to. There is no easement to it. So, and people are buying it. So,
yeah.
I think that having a resource where you can meet people that will help you rather than try and just skin you, it would be that's what I'm shooting for. And
like a virtual livestock association.
Yeah. Yep. But with the little bit for the industry guys, but a little bit for the people that are interested in maybe joining the industry.
So, yes. Anyway.
Yeah, that all came because I snagged the website. So
hey man, yeah, I'm just glad Steve Jobs had a garage, So yeah, I think opportunity. So I think you have a decent network too. You can help duct tape some of that together for sure. And it's I'm thinking of offline conversations I've had with a lot of other people that are very parallel to some of those aspects as well. So
and I would just like to iterate that I am totally doing this in my own style. There will be no business plan. I am not 100% sure where it's going. I'm probably going to try and fail a lot of stuff. So if that annoys anybody, they should probably skip like the first couple weeks.
Or a couple weeks. Come on, let's get them. Yeah, because my next question was going to be, if you don't mind, how are you planning on monetizing this?
The thing is, I'd like to monetize. So the other thing I see in agriculture is the vaccines own all the publications, basically.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
isn't a problem, but I'd like to probably there's some really cool things I'd like to like. I was going to trade people that were adding content so that they could advertise what they're doing on it, and then just really take it, not just be a one, probably just not be, can't just call up and get an advertising spot. Have to be providing a service that's relevant and worth, yeah. So,
Like it.
and it's probably
It's
not
my
really
sandbox.
my place to judge who's relevant and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, just
Isn't it? Yeah. Why not?
There has to be
Well-
some standard,
yeah.
Even if it's yours. Like,
even if it's yours.
I mean, why the hell not? Like,
Anyways, but I just think it's time for, it sort of goes into the media conversation. I just
Mhm.
think it's time for like a honest source of way to disseminate information straight from people's mouths and their experiences. And there's a big knowledge base out there in agriculture, and I just don't think
absolutely.
it's being tapped into efficiently.
Nope.
Yeah.
When most of the time people
Well,
are
if-
like, I'm just busy, leave me alone, or I don't, not necessarily leave me alone, but I'm not going to go track you down and tap you on the shoulder to tell you how much you're screwing up. Like, I'm just doing my thing, you know? I think that's probably one of the strengths and weaknesses of most people in ag.
It's
Sorry.
so hard to get those people that do have that knowledge to talk,
Yes.
because it seems like the people that go out there that are maybe the new guy in the industry that's tooting his own horn and trying to position himself somewhere, they just piss people off, and people eventually see through that. You can't
Mhm.
get
Yeah.
more power to you if you can get those people to talk, Richard.
I had pretty good luck with my dirt simple one, so it's probably
Yeah.
follow pretty much the same thing, but just a different, little bit different name.
Well, I think it's slightly different point of direction too. I think I was just looking through my podcast today, and of course I still have that saved on my list. And like Dirt Simple, man, those were fun times. So it's good to hear that's kind of focusing some of that energy and effort and resources, I think, also back to that. So yeah, very cool. Very cool. I'm excited. So yeah.
I'll probably plug it again and again, but
Well, that would be wonderful. Yes,
Yeah.
I think we're happy to do as such. And anytime a reacher's reaching out to do something else, we're gonna be all over that. Yeah. So just saying, it might cost you that painting in the background. That's one of my favorites. So keep that in mind. Yeah,
that is from Amy.
that one. Yeah. Huh? What's that?
Amy gave me that one.
Oh, shiitake. That's right. That's why I recognize that. The little
What
Hereford
is
calf. The Hereford calf looking
Oh.
through the fence. Took a little
That
life and
was
shit right there.
artist out of Joseph.
I
Yes.
think, or Baker, one of the two. I remember I saw that
Yeah.
100 times. Yeah, I just like it. So it's got a head of it, you know. Yeah, too funny. Tiny little
One
world.
of my very few possessions that survived the White House.
None of us even survived the White House. We got out of there with like a painting, yeah, like a half a shoe, yeah, like
A portion of your liver.
yeah. One of them's completely done in. Yeah. I've got a whole box of pictures I found a while ago from most of them from the White House, like physical pictures. Yeah. Like,
Nice.
Took the time to go get them developed.
yeah. Can you believe that
Wow.
shit? I think we must have done it when we were trading in beer cans. Probably we would like pictures at the same time. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Found them. It's like a box about probably 12 inches tall by 14 inches long, probably 10 inches wide. And it's literally
Oh, yeah.
stacked with pictures from powwow and White House, and you know, so it's on a time lock. Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be a statute of limitations on some of that, but
Yeah, I found there's some of those pictures are from the what was it called, WAF, the World Association of Ag Congress for ag councils, our trip to Cal Poly. Some of those pictures in there with me and Dr. Fred and everybody thought I was one of the professors from Eastern, the Canadian team trying to hire me. Like, it's beautiful. Yeah. I looked 20 years older in grad school than I do now. I was hilarious, but yeah. When I went to sign up for parking, when I first got to grad school, like I had my huge glasses still, and I had like a huge mustache and a beard, and I had like this old Filson coat on because I've been doing shitty research all summer long, and I bombed over to Corvallis to get signed up and everything, and I was getting my parking pass, and I was in the parking administration or whatever, and the lady's like, well, that's odd. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, for some reason, they've got you in student parking. Let me fix that for you. I'm like, well, thank you so very much. So she gives me faculty parking. And I'm not one to argue with somebody who's going to do that. And so, whereas my good buddy Callan, what's that, Richard?
Not a reward initiative.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I'm like, so yeah, I look like a 70-year-old man. So I was hanging out with my buddy Callan Ackerman was a professor there, and we're hanging out, and I kept a liter of scotch in his bottom drawer that my friends from Canada brought me back, like a little liter bottle, it just fit perfectly in an old wooden desk drawer. So I'd swing by and we'd have a shot and toast the day. So we're like ready to go. I'm like, yeah. So we're walking out, to go drive home, and he's like, where are you parked at? I'm like, I think I'm right over by you. And he had an old blue Ford pickup, and I had a 71 white Ford pickup I called Uncle Jesse. And he's like, did you park next to me? I'm like, I think so. Yeah. Where you at? So we walk over. He's like, how the shit are you parking over here? And I'm like, oh, I got faculty parking, dude. He's like, I don't want to know how. I'm not going to ask any questions. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. So
did you pay for it?
I did. Yeah, I paid faculty parking price. Yeah. So, but it was just as good as. She's like, oh, that's so weird. They've got you in student parking. I'm like, wow, we can. Yeah. So, yeah, they thought that me and Obermiller Obermiller was the professor from Oregon State. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm the professor from Eastern. Like, awesome. And by the end of the week, now they wanted to try to hire me to go to Canada and be their teacher. So. Canadians.
Sorry, I don't have the credentials.
Yeah, I'm like, don't get hung up on that kind of shit. We'll make this happen. Yeah. And so I love my Canadian friends. Yeah. No hosers. So awesome. Well, great discussion, I think, on the intellectual moment. Again, brought to you by Pendleton Mixer and Cigar. What happens when the media is caught lying? Like, really, we're still working through that because we don't pay attention to them. Like, I don't think their ratings have ever been worse. They're not doing anything to help themselves. Unfortunately, there's no real stand or committee or anything that's like, look, you guys are full of shit. So, because that's the whole freedom of speech thing too. But when you position yourself as a source of news, not we're the propaganda arm for this party, that's concerning. So I think we filter it. We keep pointing it out. We ignore their dumbasses, I think, but the hypocrisy and just the ramifications it has on people and people that buy in because they feel this somewhat, I just can't understand why you just feel the pressure to know, like, you can't tell me, I gotta go back to this thing because it just drives me shitty. Like the head of Coke or Delta doesn't have like a legal team that's like, oh, sir, we've analyzed this whole bill and it doesn't appear to be anything, like Delta came out in favor of it when it first came out. And then President, the B guy, is like, this is bad. And they're like, yeah, this is bad. Even though, like you have to have ID to come be part of our stockholder meeting, and you gotta have ID to get on a plane, and you gotta have ID to pick up your tickets at the fucking baseball game. And so anyways, it's just like they just saying it out loud. It's like the emperor has no clothes kind of thing. Like everybody just goes along and it's like, oh, those are lovely clothes, Your Honor. Like naked, completely naked. So sorry, that might have got into grinding my grrr just a little bit on that one, but it happens. So
I wonder if ethics classes are even taught in journalism, if you're taking at this point.
Oh, that's a question. Yeah, if it is, it's like, yeah, like the jumbo shrimp. Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Well, James Comey was teaching ethics at Princeton.
That'll tell you something right there. Yeah, That guy's
Yeah.
crooked as a dog's hind leg, like criminal kind of crooked. Like seriously, why would you even have him on anything besides to just arrest him on TV?
I'd say they're spending more time on Sal Lewinsky than they are on ethics.
Affirmative. Yeah. Rules for yeah. So
rules for potatoes.
Certainly, sir. So let's roll right into our next little segment. The Far Reaches Word of the Week. And again, this just kills me how this is just like cascading down because I kind of have like this random way I find my words. And so the word of the week this week is Hoosegow. Can you believe that?
You got thrown in the Hoosegow?
Yeah, Hoosegow. Yeah, that's the word. So some of us know what it means. Obviously, it's kind of part of our lexicon, if you will.
I've been to the Hoosegow twice.
Been to or in the Hoosegow?
In the Hoosegow.
In the Hoosegow twice. I think I was in once. That was in Hawaii, though. That's a different deal.
I've provided bail money at the Hoosegow, but never been in.
Well, any decent person would have been there with us. Yeah. Like Merwin used to write the check and then we would. That's our idea of planning ahead. Somebody leave a blank check for bail. Yeah, that's. So for those of you playing along at home and don't know, Hoosegow is slang for like jail, or in the clink. Clink is another word kind of thing. But actually, though, I won't go through my system of getting to this word, but then I looked it up also online, and there's some Spanish origin too. For Juzgado means panel of judges or courtroom. So it's kind of based on a Juzgar. It's meaning to judge. So kind of interesting how that all comes together. And then Latin of judicare, judicare, which is right or law. So Hoosegow though. So jail. Got thrown in the Hoosegow this weekend. So yeah. Fun word.
I got put in the Minot Hoosegow for getting roofied.
Really?
For getting roofied?
I was at a bar. We were drinking with a workover crew, and there's I'd been visiting with one of them. He invited me back to the table, and there was a bunch of girls there, and one of them gave me her drink, and it hadn't been roofied, and I felt things were going south, and I thought, this is weird. I haven't really been drinking that much, and called an Uber and walked out and passed out on the corner, and ended up woke up 12 hours later in the Minot jail.
Do you think that she knew she'd been roofied, or she was just being nice and giving you a drink and somebody else had roofied her?
I think that they were being super cautious, and I don't think that they knew, but I only figured this out because they busted that bar and that place a couple weeks later because girls had been getting roofied there.
Oh wow!
I couldn't put it together because like I could remember clearly being aware of in the Uber, like no problem. But things were sort of like, I was just really surprised how fast things were going out of control. And I was like, yeah. And I remember talking to somebody outside, and the next thing I remember is nothing for like 12 hours. So
had that similar thing. Yeah, like almost like I lost motor skills and couldn't talk, and yeah, a lot of blank tape. So
well,
interesting. Yeah, so you got to use the word roofie and Minot in the sentence, which is pretty cool, by the way. Yeah.
Probably the Hoosegow was the safest place for you.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew until I got into those Rocky Mountain states like Casper, Rapid City. They're violent places. They're no joke. I remember when I went down to Midland, Odessa, like they would have somebody get killed every couple weeks, and like I was like, this is nothing. In Casper, they kill a couple people every week.
Yeah.
In Rapid City, almost every day. So
crazy. Yeah, especially if you're completely just drugged out of your gourd, like you can't do anything. You're basically a boneless chicken at that point.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's my Hoosegow story.
Wow, awesome.
The other one can only be told among tight groups of friends.
We're all friends here, Richard.
We're all
Nobody
friends,
else is
Richard.
listening.
Come
What
on.
are you worried about? Yeah, come on. Was I there? Yeah, that's Yeah, I got busted for underage drinking in Hawaii on the base. And for some reason, they called local cops and they took us to the Hawaiian jail, which they love Navy guys in the Hawaiian jail. Yeah, that was awesome. Just saying. Yeah. So,
Is that like the Hawaiian Navy Scared Straight program?
probably pretty close. It didn't work, but yes, I think they do their best to, like, when they don't really care what happened to you, you freaking haoles, they're gonna put you in Hawaiian jail. So if like you're just a haole, that's bad enough. But if you're a squid and a haole, that's pretty much open season. Yeah. So thank God there was at least 4 of us or 5. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
What did you learn from your experience?
Get a better nothing really. We just come from Central America. We're like 12-year-olds are down in shots, and so we just rolled into Hawaii. We weren't even thinking about it. We actually thought we were on base. Apparently that was an off-base bar, but we thought it was on base. And so like we rolled in. I'm like, hey, I'll go get the pool table. They're like, yeah, we'll get some beers. So they got pitchers of beer, and I was racking up the pool table. Like it was just like dudes going out to have some pool and beer after you hit town. And so like we're like gathered around like da pouring a pitcher, and like I don't know. The guy's like, hey, can I see your ID? And I'm like, yeah, not even thinking. Like it wasn't even like I left it in the hotel. I was like, sure, here you go. And he's like, ha, you're busted. I'm like, well, it's valid. He's like, you're only 18. I'm like, yeah, duh. He's like, dude, you're not on base. You have to be 21 to drink here. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. And he's like, well, who bought it for you? I'm like, nobody.
Nobody.
I'm not gonna get my buddies in trouble. Like, again, we thought we were on base for one. Yeah, but because in San Diego you can drink beer on base when you're 18 because they don't want you wandering to Tijuana, which that didn't work either. But yeah, we just come from Central America. Like there's no rules basically. Yeah, like if you wanted to say, oh, good Lord, yeah. So yeah, it was just like we hit town, go shoot some pool, have a couple beers, and hang out. That was the whole thing. It wasn't like this big conspiracy outside. Like, okay, you go get that, and no, just dude's gonna go grab a beer. Yeah. So we'd spent 3 months in Central America. That was the last stop before we got back home. So yeah, total BS. So they took our ID. This is the stupid part. They take our ID. Like that's everything when you're in the military. Like you can't get on your freaking boat if you don't have your ID. Take our IDs. They put us in the back. I'm like, you guys aren't going to rough up our security, are you? I'm like, you have my ID. Like, they can only slip on so many bars of soap in here, and we're still going to get somewhere. And you're going to open the door and be like, what happened to these guys? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, you have my ID, man. You have my attention. Like, we're going where you take us. Yeah. So then they waited 4 or 5 hours to call their captain, and then he was pissed. And so they took us back to the boat, and they gave him the IDs, and they left. And he's like, I'll deal with these young men, blah, 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 the stern, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, they leave. He's like, you guys going to go back out? We're like, hopefully. He's like, well, here's your IDs. Don't be stupid. So we follow those bastards right off the pier. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So we're all pretty good, top-notch, squids at the time. We were all pretty squared away, as they would say. So he's like, just don't be something stupid like this. We're like, right away, sir. Yeah. So when you ask me what I learned, just make sure you're drinking on base if you think you're drinking on base. Yeah. Don't go to jail in Hawaii if you're me. Yeah. So just saying. Yeah.
That was all I was asking.
Well, congratulations. You're rather tight-lipped on this whole thing too. So that's what was
I've never had a ticket.
Shit.
Not for lack of trying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just because there's no witnesses anymore, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
No, ever came to an MIP was the night before I turned 21.
That'll get you. Yeah, that was like the Lake County curse there. Yeah, that was.
It was Pendleton Roundup.
Oh, really? Man, why would you? Yeah.
Yes. Digger and I ran over there, and yeah, the poor guy. You have 6 hours. Would you hand your beer to the guy next to you?
Oh, yeah.
And turn me
Yeah.
loose.
Bye-bye. Yeah, that's what. I was at Mosquito Fest one summer, and it was actually the night before I turned 21. And everybody's like, Mike, have a beer. I'm like, no. And I've been working hay somewhere, and they're like, have a beer, dude. And I'm like, dude, I literally have like 3.5 hours till I can do it legally and not worry about it. I'm at Mosquito Fest. I'm just gonna try to. Can you help me out a little bit? Just support me. Come on, kids. I'm not gonna be that guy that gets 3 hours from 21 and gets MIP at Mosquito Fest of all places, which downtown Paisley. Thank you so very much. One of the highlights of the high desert summer. But yeah, like if you can get through Eagleville barbecue like 4 times and not get MIP, you're not going to get one standing around the freaking Skeeter Fest. So I made it. Yeah.
I hate to make this all about story time lane, but
guess what? It's good.
I really came close to getting an MIP at the Mosquito Festival. I was in the bar.
There's your first mistake. Yeah.
I had been drinking a half gallon of vodka with a lady that I jumped her pickup.
Kinky.
Yeah. Anyways, so was in the bar. She came in and asked if anybody had jumper cables and could help her get her pickup started. So I volunteered, left the bar. Cops came in the bar. Were in the process of arresting a bunch of the other minors that were in the bar. I unknowingly came back in the bar, parked my ass on the pool table next to 2 underage girls with jumper cables around my neck.
Certainly.
Was proceeding to run my mouth about the cops and how annoying it was that they were in there arresting all the underage people. And as they were ushering them out, I was yelling, "Get those sons of bitches out of here." That was fun.
The cops thought you were talking about the underage kids. The underage kids thought you were talking about the cops. Yeah. And the bouncer looked at you with those jumper cables around your neck and said, "Don't start nothing, mister." Yeah, sorry.
None of that story surprises me.
I can't believe you set me up that good for the "don't start nothing" joke. Yeah. And totally, Amy, all of that is completely believable, especially the whole random act of kindness. Like, I'm surprised. Like, well, why would you want to leave the bar anyways? Why don't you just wait a while and have a couple more and we'll get it fixed later? Yeah. Beautiful, Bradbury. Beautiful. Yeah, that was the man. I hadn't thought about Eagleville barbecue in a long time, but Opie sent me a cartoon this week from a story from our hay cutting times, and then that reminded me, Eagleville barbecue. So yeah, that was a highlight. Of course, go ahead.
The nice thing about pulling something like that at the Mosquito Festival is all the free drinks you get from all the supportive adults.
Legendary. Yeah. The supportive adults, I love that too, because the family that drinks together, they're the one that stays together. Yeah, it's a generational thing. Yeah, the supportive adults, I love that.
Maybe it's an Irish thing coming from Lake
Good
County.
to see you out at the bar finally. It's been too long. Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's hilarious. And yes, and I still owe Sue Hill a deep apology for Frog and I getting her pickup stuck in the ditch. We still apologize, Sue. Sorry about that. So, not just stuck in the ditch, the back tires were at least 3.5 foot off the ground. Yeah. So my comment at the time was like, "Don't worry, it's 4-wheel drive. She can just back right out." Guess what? It wasn't. Yeah. So she goes to get her pickup the next day, and it's downtown and literally a ditch at about a 45, probably 3 foot off the back. Yeah. So sorry, Sue, but Arch came pulled her out, so all was well. But it was quite the chaos in that particular. I think that was the summer I turned 15, almost 16. Yeah, because I turned 16 that summer. I was driving down the highway going to Davis Creek from Eagleville and listening to the radio, back in the day when they had the birthdays and shit on the radio in the morning. And, roaring down the road at way too fast to speed. I'm like, oh, and happy 16th birthday to Micah. He threw, and I was like, hey, guys, guess what? Today's my birthday. As I was driving. Yeah. So later that week, I took that ranch pickup. I drove to Lakeview and went to the DMV to get my driver's test. So I pull in, park the pickup, walk inside. The guy's like, did you have a vehicle here? I'm like, yeah, sure do. Who drove you? Oh, guys I work with. They dropped me off. We took 2 rigs to town. They dropped me off. They're doing stuff in town, and they'll come back and pick me up when it's all over with. He's like, oh, okay, great. So we walk out to the pickup, do our little driver's test, come back, get my license, jump in the pickup, drive back to work. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know how we got off of that anyways, but it's talking about my Skeeter Fest and MIPs and close calls and yeah. Good times.
In case you're not lost, in case you're lost now, just wait.
Is there any particular reason? You got something coming up, but you finally, I think Richard has picked his entertainment spotlight is what I'm guessing. Is that correct?
Oh, we're going to do that now?
Well, not quite. No, not yet. We don't have to. No, I was just thinking, just judging by the gleam in your eyes, you finally kind of got that lined out, especially with your comment. Like, if you ain't lost now, just wait. You think it's going to get that much worse, or I don't know. Yeah. So that's a great segue in our newest segment. We've probably kind of ground our gears though, I think, a little bit. Does anybody want to grind your gears anymore?
I can take mine till next week.
You can do it now too if you want. I mean, we don't all have to grind our gears all the time. Like I kind of ground mine earlier. So real quick.
Since we got Amy here, I want to grab my gears.
I will, but let me say who's sponsoring this segment too. This is again by our good friends at B&K, because grinding the gears, or we're still working on something called blown a head gasket or scrap this idea. But anyways, it's still sponsored by our good friends at B&K. And kids, with social distancing rules still in effect in the People's Republic of Oregon, you can just call ahead and order your parts. They'll come in, you pay over the phone, and they go out and pick it up for you. You roll in the door and pick it up. Or I know those you out there, and I know you're out there for sure, who like to pull your own. You can come in and do that as well for just some good old-fashioned junkyard fun, and use promo code REACHER for that cheap pull. So again, thanks to our friends at B&K Auto Salvage for bringing us this podcast, and specifically this segment of What's Grinding Your Gears. Grr.
So, as another Oregonian that doesn't live where Raleigh lives in Hermitville, have you noticed an increase in the Oregon State Police pulling people over in the last couple of weeks?
Yes.
What is up
funny
with
that you say that?
They are going bananas here. They're
Really?
Every 45 minutes it seems like every time I turn it, this morning there was somebody pulled over. Last night I saw 2 people pulled over. It's just the state police. And I'm wondering what in the hell is going on. And
for the longest time around here, law enforcement was strictly cite and release. They weren't taking anyone to jail. It was getting sort of awful. I wonder if that's going away. And now they are starting to ticket and take people to court, and it's totally a revenue thing, making up for months and months of lost revenue.
That's what I'm wondering. I was just wondering if it's a mandate from on high, but they have been eager beavers. And
yep.
And I want to be supportive of our brethren in blue, support the thin blue line, but at some point, it's like affecting the commerce of these small towns, and there's not that much money to go around for everybody to be paying a bunch of tickets.
And I don't think it's the individual troopers or the individual county cops. I think it's leadership.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Richard, you can support, and we're friends, but if I need to tell you to go pound sand, I can. It doesn't mean we're not still friends. So yeah, we can support police for sure, but if it's this kind of crap, you're like, dude, that's not very cool. Or what's going on? Even sometimes they'll even tell you, hey, the next 4 days or next week is seatbelt awareness week, so watch your ass. This just seems to be like not even a campaign of any sorts besides. And do you think it's more in rural areas or do you think it's everywhere?
Oh, I have no idea. I think I would like to say, without any evidence whatsoever, it's
Mhm.
in areas that didn't really support Kate, but
That was
I'd
my
be wrong.
question. Yeah. Obviously, that's
But
where my mind goes. But I mean, that's why I asked, is it just rural areas or you think if you're seeing it and Amy's seeing the same thing, and maybe that's where Raleigh is. Maybe he's already in jail. I don't know. Yeah.
that'll be a good Raleigh
We
story.
Yeah.
we
Balls,
really
sorry we
need to
weren't
have
there.
yeah, we really need to have my Mongolia cohort on here for this
Ooh.
conversation. She'd have an opinion.
It's funny that somebody you would know would have an opinion. I mean, I know what she does too. I just have to give you shit. Yeah, so.
Yes.
Anyways, I'm okay. I mean, I don't even mind getting a ticket, but I think when it's so aggressive and so out in the
Mhm.
so like it's bad for the guys that are the troopers.
Do you
'Cause
think it's reestablishing the presence and dominance as well when you say it's like aggressive? Do you think that's part of the whole undertone?
you read a lot of stuff into it when you notice stuff like this. So I don't
Mhm.
want to jump to any conclusions, but yeah, it seems like a real statement of authority, and I don't think that it's well timed.
I would concur.
I,
Yes.
I think if you're going to mess around in rural areas, you should really pick your battles pretty well. So
I
Yeah.
I don't know. For the longest time, around home, there wasn't a presence though, and we
Mhm.
were having real problems because there wasn't any enforcement. I'm not totally opposed to it.
No, I think it's what it's for too. Like if I'm doing 66 and a 55 and you're, you know, skinning my nuts for that versus, you know, there's people stealing hay or tractors or, breaking windows or, you know, meth housing or whatever. Like there's a lot of other shit you could probably go do besides sitting on the highway waiting for me to go speeding. I always think.
Yeah, but by making a presence known, maybe
Mhm.
it deters some of that other bullshit.
Maybe so. There's got to be a study on that somewhere. Yeah. So, and I'm sure you're probably tired of digging holes by now too. So it's good. Yeah.
I think I told our local sheriff that what he was doing was going to criminalize innocent people. And he might not like yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice way of
Story for
saying
another day.
our trash. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
just saying. Yeah. Too funny. Oh, well, good grinding your gears, Richard. I think that was a nicely said and well to the point and unlike what we normally do. So way to go. Yeah, way to go. Which leads us really nicely into our other segment of the Entertainment Spotlight. So this week, Richard will be determining what venue we're going to go down. You've noticed in the past we've done movies, we've done books, we've done albums, we've done podcasts, we've done just a little bit. We haven't had a poem yet, which I guess we might get to at some point. So we've done all sorts of great random things, and we appreciate all your feedback on that as well. But Richard, this next one is up to you, so you can lay it on us, and we can hash it through and get ready to discuss on our next episode.
Um, as always, with the variety of stuff that we're going to pick, it always makes it tough. And I tend to gravitate towards books. I think I did the last book, but
You did, yeah, the Bigfoot thing, I think, right?
Yep.
No, yeah,
or did I do the podcast? That was the
book was a few times ago. Yeah,
Huns.
that was
Anyways,
before.
so I listened to a really good book by James Altucher called "Skip the Line," which I would highly recommend for everybody. But that's not the book I'm going to recommend.
No, of course not. I had that all written out. Of course, that's not the book we're talking about. Moron.
I
Yeah,
really think it would be cool for everybody to read a book called Red Beef Republic.
Red Beef Republic. Is that what you said?
Yep. and it's an amazing book about the evolution of ranching in the United States. And it really set clear lines for me between like the difference between farmers and ranchers.
Hmm.
And while we're all sort of in this same bucket together, our business philosophies are very much divergent. So,
Who wrote this book, Richard? Do you know?
oh man, I can't think of it. I think it's
Joshua Specht,
Yep,
Red Meat Republic.
Did you say spec?
yep.
Did I say Specht? Specht.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I did not say Specht, but you did.
Anyways, he's an amazing writer on top of this really great book. So,
How do you spell that last name again? I'm sorry.
We
Specht.
just lost Micah. Specht.
I think this is what an aneurysm feels like. Yeah. Word I've not said out loud or heard in probably 15 years at least. Yeah. So, sorry. We're back. Joshua Specht, Red Beef Republic. Difference between farmers and
Red
ranchers.
Meat Republic.
yeah,
Red beef?
meat, sorry.
You said red beef.
I
Is it
know.
red meat?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Red meat. Okay, sorry. I just write down what you say. I'm the dummy on this side, just listening to the Bradbury. Yeah, red meat Republic. Okay, that works too. I like red beef better, but whatever.
I think it clocks in about 7 hours. So,
Okay.
But I won't give too many spoilers, but I think it'll give you a really interesting perspective on, well, it gives you just this really great, sort of known history of the United States and shows how meat has been sort of parallels our history.
Cool. Seems timely as well. Yeah, I like it. Joshua Specht. Cool. Is that did you find that on Amazon or Audio or Audible, I mean, or everywhere probably?
It's on Audible. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for those of you who occasionally listen to books on tape or whatever, Audible's got some great things where you can subscribe and get either one every month or unlimited every month or whatever. And it's a pretty dang good deal. It's one of those things, like, you have it, you tend to use it. You know, it's not like, I don't listen to that many books. Well, if you have them at your fingertips, you probably will. So just a plug for that, because I think it's a handy deal to have, even though I still order some books in hard copy just to have. Most of mine are audio, so I can do other things and listen to it at the same time, or just zone out and listen to it, which is really cool. If you have nothing else going on, just like Sound of Silence in a book, pretty cool.
Plus, it has this awesome
Driving an hour to work.
Driving an hour to work. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What
was that, Richard?
It has this awesome stats.
Ooh. For those of you playing along at home.
6 days, 2 hours, and 16 minutes of books.
Yeah, Audible gives you your updates. You get little badges. Yeah, it's the good kind though. It's not like when you get your weekly iPhone update and you're like, son of a bitch, I spent too much time on my phone. Yeah, that hurts. Yeah. So that's actually, yeah.
There's my reading trend.
So I guess that's going up. Yeah. Congrats. If you turn it sideways, you're going down. So I guess it's a relative.
Yeah, there we go.
That's awesome. So, Red Meat Republic, right?
Yep.
Joshua Littlecar. Cool.
He was an escort in his former life.
He was.
Really?
Did you just say, was he really? Did it go completely over your head?
Yes.
Did you put your bangs up so you can catch that shit when it goes whipping by? Like, Richard just threw a fastball past you?
Oh, Jesus. I can't believe I missed that one.
Wow. Fastball for Bradbury, right down the
That's
center, swing and a miss.
awful.
Yeah,
Good job, Richard.
take your base. Take your base. Yeah.
And we know where he got the inspiration for red in the title.
Grr. Yeah. He used to have red pants even. Yeah. So I love having these jokes that only like 4 of us know, and we don't even say them out loud all the way. And poor people driving to work now listening to this going, what are these assholes? Like, it's just like 3 people mind melded and they don't even have to say it out loud anymore. Yeah, it's like it's some kind of weird
I'm not sure.
shorthand.
I'm not sure this is going to be your highest rating podcast.
Yeah, it'll make the next one seem all the much better. No, I'm having a blast. Yeah.
Ones that do the best are the ones that we run completely off the rails.
Pretty much so. Yeah. And like, I was like, hey, why do you guys do that podcast? Because it makes me laugh. That's why. Like, who's your target audience? Us? Like, that's like,
We're very selfish.
I mean, you're not caught on to that yet? Yeah, like it's great when you guys listen and say shit to us and we take it into account. But like, we do this for us, basically. Yeah, that's the funny part about it. Like, are people that think like us, or anyways, there's a lot of great. I mean, we have our audience is going ape shit like all over the place. Lots of people listening and like just such a diverse, random crowd. I love it, and it's still like this is so weird. Like over 68% female audience, which how can you? Obviously, yeah. So, yeah, and we give it away for free, for God's sakes. Yeah, how could you ever do that? Like,
oh, who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nobody yet. Yeah, certainly not nobody on this podcast. Yeah. Oh, that's too funny. Awesome. Well, we have a few reacher mails this week too. I tried to decipher them. Some of them were phone calls. Some of them were numerous texts. I was on the phone with one person for like 45 minutes, and I'm like, Jesus, how do I cipher this down to like not on a whole entire podcast into itself? But good friend John, call him John from Idaho. I think John technically lives in Idaho. John wanders around most of the Northwest a lot of times. Worked at a vet clinic for a long time, did a lot of different things. And so he goes, sometimes I'm behind on you guys, or I listen to something more than once, because he listens to us when he's driving a lot. And he always worries that people are thinking he's going to be crazy because he's just driving down the road laughing like a maniac. And of course, people passing him don't know that he's listening to far reaches. Of course, he's just laughing like a maniac. So, but his first statement when I picked up the phone, he's like, "You bet your ass cows can go upstairs." And I'm like, huh? And he's like, "Oh, remember, he starts, referencing a podcast from a while ago when that was one of the questions I think Joel brought up. And so John was working at a vet clinic, and he's like, we had this cow get out of the back area. She walked up the stairs and right into like the account, like where all the accountants and secretaries and shit, looked around a little bit, turned around and walked right back down the stairs. And I'm like, oh my God, to see the look on everybody's face. And like, somebody's watching me. Hello, so, but yeah, and that cracks me up. And that just reminded me of another piece of mail we got this week. I call it mail because it comes in many different forms. Yeah, because you just get like random out of nowhere things from people. Yeah. So the day I'm let's see, it's in the afternoon and I get a text. Meadowbrook is seasonal and still closed. I'm like, the shit are you talking about? And it was Spoon texting me about the Meadowbrook store south of Dale and all this, but like, you just get like these
from 5 podcasts back,
completely out of nowhere, like that's just all it said. And I was like, yeah. Or then, yeah, another time he said, that was the orchard scene. Like, what are you talking about? So he just, if people are listening to the podcast and they'll instantly text something, but it might be several podcasts ago where I might have forgot about that particular line. So slays me. So anyways, John from Idaho listens all the time. Anybody who rides with him gets introduced to far reaches. He definitely listens a lot when he's driving. He goes, I learned something every single time. And I go, wow, that is quite a statement. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, you guys are talking about a book. I'll go look it up. You talk about a law. You'll talk about something. He goes, I never thought I'd say that to you because John's known me a long time. And he's like, I just love it, guys. So, John, we can't thank you enough for all the times you listen. And like I said, we had like a 45-minute conversation, but I'll keep it to those few sentences just because for still some statute limitations on some other stuff that John and I have talked about. So great comments too from Erin in Oregon. She said that, vaccines for children is also an interesting topic y'all might care to dive into at some point. And I had to agree. I think there's a lot of people looking at not just vaccines for adults in the current Rona deal, but a lot of interest and emphasis on the vaccine protocol for children and some of the things that are being correlated with that. It's a very passionate subject for sure. And it's something that even some people have experienced some pretty deep turmoil within their family when, a new, or even not necessarily a new, but when parents will say, we're not going to vaccinate our kids, and like another brother and sister or parents or somebody takes umbrage with that, if you will. And so that puts some interesting pressure on people to do that, what they do. So I think it's certainly it's a live topic. We'll try to see if we can dig into it a bit more. I know there's a lot of different information out there. Again, I think, I don't know if it's Amy, I think Amy mentioned it when we were talking about the media lying. It's like, how do you even know what to believe and how to cipher through it? So that's where, some of this stuff comes from as well. But Aaron, I think that's a great topic and something we're certainly going to try to dig into a bit more. And then I forgot to write Spoon's down, but yeah, Spoon, thanks for listening again and all the updates on the road when you're driving around from our random questions. And then we had an anonymous reacher mail. Yes, Richard is right. Mendocino County line is the best from Willie. I have to agree. So turns out that was Amy, but she wanted to remain anonymous at first, and then I think the peer pressure got to her. Yeah,
I usually don't care.
No, not really. I just said I'll keep you anonymous, and then she didn't ask for that. So reach your mail. It's great, guys. I love when you guys comment, when you send us feedback, when you have suggestions. That's what it's all about too. Is we joke that this podcast is for us and to entertain us, but really it's for all of us to have a forum to talk back and forth and to learn new things and talk about things that we have passion about and learn things that we might not know we do. And so, that's really what the focus is. So we appreciate when you write and text random things. And I apologize if I don't always get them on the next episode. I try to eventually get them tracked down and put on the master sheet that I try to guide myself through these episodes with. But, it's coming from 14 different directions, like prom night. And so it's hard to get everything put in the same spot sometimes, but we do our best and we're going to get better. I promise at that. And so it kind of leads us to one of our newer segments that's sort of born out of feedback from Mr. Joel and his randomness of his zombie machine. And so, we called it his slang buying stuff. Because that's what we were talking a few weeks in a row about Joel's vehicle of choice. And actually, the smart ass in the chair, Amy, had mentioned this also during one of our conversations. Like, great topic for buying stuff would be flatbeds. And I said, harumph, outstanding. And so that was yet another reason we asked Amy to come on, because that's a pretty big buying choice for one. There's a lot of options too. Places to get them for free, and I think there's a lot of thought that probably goes into that sometimes because we don't always get a pickup with a flatbed on already. Like even Raleigh mentioned, he's like, yeah, we just bought a new one ton, it needs a flatbed. So certainly I think interest in this topic. So what are your thoughts? Are you looking for a flatbed right now?
Sometimes when you buy a new Ford pickup with a bed so high you can't get through a dip without getting caught in the gooseneck, you kind of need to be looking for a new flatbed.
I get you. Yes.
Yeah, it'll get you. Yeah, no, I've been looking. I wanted your input.
Obviously, we will do that for sure. Yes.
But no, there's everything from the custom ones that they make out of Pilot Rock, those Packy belts, to the C&Ms that you buy a dime a dozen. I don't know. And that goes back to one of your reacher words, overshot. Do you get an overshot?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So.
Richard, you're nodding and sweating and excited. What's going on there?
It was a timely topic because somebody said to me as they looked at my broken tailgate and knocked out back light, they said, this is why they make flatbeds.
See? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know why I haven't invested in a flatbed, probably because I'm cheap, but I'm thinking that it makes a lot of sense because we had flatbeds when I worked for the emergency response company that had toolboxes built into them.
Mm-hmm.
Super handy, really low profile with saddle tanks. And you could do a lot of stuff with them, put a lot of stuff on them, haul a lot of stuff with them. So, yeah, thinking that, especially with the tall pickups and the 17-inch tires, I think that it's increasingly tough to, get the trailer and the pickup to work together.
Yeah, those tall beds,
these
tall
Fords are
pickups, tall
awful.
beds, standard gooseneck still. And like you said, if you go through a ditch, you're really apt to either be really close or definitely mangle that thing, especially if you're at an angle, because you want to go through at an angle so you don't jack it up even more. So for those of you playing along at home and have never had the pleasure of having a flatbed, it takes, you've probably seen them. I mean, maybe Joel, I wish you now because I wish you weren't pooping because you probably have some great questions about flatbeds, but it is exactly what it sounds. You take, a normal bed of the pickup's got sides on it and tailgate, and the flatbed is what it sounds like. Flat metal, usually a cab guard that goes up the back, and no tailgate, and a big heavy bumper, and sometimes toolboxes on the bottom or on the back, or fuel tanks, or a lot of different styles. You got steel, you got aluminum,
Dog boxes.
Dog boxes, absolutely, yeah. So a lot of options, but supremely handy. Yeah.
They even make them in Ford Ranger size, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. When I spent time in New Zealand and Australia, like everything's got a freaking flatbed on it down there. And they're like, 14 inches long, basically. It's like a crew cab pickup, the little Toyota Hilux, crew cab Toyota, about a 2-foot bed on the back. And then basically wrap around guards all the way around it because of kangaroos. But I even said down there, man, if a fellow's down here building flatbeds and push bars, you'd be busier than you could ever be because everything's got a flatbed. I even saw freaking Subarus with flatbeds on them. Shit, you're not. Yeah. So it is the official accessory of Australia. Yeah.
I ended up with one of the random ranch pickups this week, and I went to fill it up because, of course, every time I get a vehicle, it has no fuel in it.
You're that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I put the nozzle in. I got everything going, went into the little station to get a pop, and came back out, and I had filled it up with like 70 some gallons of gas. Because unbeknownst to me, somebody had taken the time to plumb the saddle tank into the main gas tank. So little sticker shock on that one.
I expected 2 other things. I expected actually the old version where it clicked off instantly, because if it was a Ford flatbed, you had to drive it up on a block to put fuel into it. So I figured like you clicked it on, went inside, fiddle farted around, came back out, and there was a 1/4 of a gallon in your pickup. So yeah, but it's an interesting surprise for you too. Now that diesel's like $13 a gallon. So yeah.
Anyways, I have done that and drove off and ran out of fuel. So
because you had it on the wrong tank, right? Yeah.
Oh, because I filled it up.
Oh, because you did fill it up. Yeah, just clunk. I never forget, like, don't lose that wooden block. Why? We got to drive up on that son bitch when we fuel up, because the flatbed, the tank's all jacked up. I'm like, well, naturally, that's the smart thing to do. Don't fix the flatbed. Just carry that wooden block around. And, yeah, it was also good for taking the trailer on and off if you got a flat, but that was really the 3-step process when you go to fuel up somewhere, especially when you go to town. You're like, people see you. Yeah, so hanging out the pickup, looking back. Yeah. So I would say that's one of the first questions when you're looking for a flatbed. Hey, does this work with the standard fuel neck, or do you change it?
Correctly?
Yeah, precisely. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you got aluminum versus steel. That's one of the questions. You're gonna look all shiny and pretty, or do you want a hot black one when your dogs burn their feet?
Wood deck,
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
wood's an option. Yeah, a rump. Yeah. You can still have aluminum with a wood deck. It looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can find them on the Facebook even for sale. Not a bad
Absolutely.
option. Yeah, not a bad option. So I personally like the ones built out of pile rock. I think those are really well done.
I've been watching their website here, and I really do kind of like their dog box ones. But you know, the price tag on them is a little scary too.
Sometimes you still get what you pay for.
Yeah, you know, though, those CM beds are not bad beds and they're a decent price point.
There's always that bit of like pride you take though in buying the nice one, you know, like packy built ones, or like if you want a ranch hand deer slayer, you know, those are pretty nice. Like sometimes you're like, yeah, I just want to do the nice thing for my rig because it looks cool and it makes me feel happy. So other times you're like, yeah, this thing was a bargain and I'll go through 3 of them, but it was cheaper. So don't you think there's a bit of like, we do this with like, you do it with range, you do it with saddles. There's some things you like, you just want that because it's the nicest one or it's the best one, or it says like this person cares about the shit that they use every day. And so I think sometimes this falls into that realm, not necessarily like set of range or something like that, but similar, I think, because it's part of your outfit. Not, and I don't mean like earrings and shit. I mean like outfit is the ranch, like all your stuff.
Well, but it is.
Yeah. It is your
an accessory.
Yeah, it is. It is the little black dress of pickups. Yes. So.
I could probably ruin a flatbed as easily as I could ruin a regular bed. So I'm just gonna go with functional.
And I have no doubt that you could, Richard. Yes.
I wouldn't disagree.
I think there's many a thing that could happen. Yeah. It'd be fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. I think you could put a GoPro on that headache rack and probably make good money. Just the way of the Bradburr every month, and it would be
really frills and bling. They don't add much value to me. They actually probably cause me to lose money.
Well, there's a difference.
How many LED lights can you break off?
Yes, that is bad. That's something that's going to just annoy the shit out of you. Because at least me, anyways, I'm like, if one of the lights out, then it's my OCD in that regard. But I think, yeah, there's shiny and just like unnecessary, and then there's like that's good shit, you know, like I like Benchmade knives, and I like Filson coats, and you know, like there's some things you should spend money on because it's an investment in what you do. Richard just said, they're like, I can tear the shit out of a $10,000 flatbed or a $500 one, so I'm gonna get the one that just works. And so I agree with that too.
Well, and we've all seen, not to pick on cow buyers, but we've all seen the cow buyer going down the road with a big, shiny, fancy flatbed that you know damn good well he's never had a bale of hay on.
Might have had a bag of cat food on the back. Maybe that's the worst he's ever hauled. Yeah. So, that's right. I said it. He has cat food on his flatbed. Yeah.
I would say you'd probably want to be able to fit a 4-wheeler on it. That would be one prerequisite.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good point.
Both directions.
Good point. Yes. That's for sure. Probably saddle fuel tanks. Do you like the toolboxes underneath?
Boy, that looks like something a guy could rip off pretty easy.
Well,
I've always been a little concerned.
Maybe.
And that's,
they're not any lower than a regular bed though, or sometimes they're even higher.
No.
And they're in the middle usually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose if they're at running board level, you're going to rip those off first, right?
Yeah. I tend to like the ones that you can bolt on the back of the pickup. I think John Deere makes a lot of these, but they're kind of like, let's say they're 2 foot wide at the base, 2.5, and they kind of V up and they open up at an angle. And those are nice for the back of a pickup. You can bolt those on, you can move them around. They hold a good set of tools. You can get to, I don't like the ones that go all the way across the bed because it's hard to get the shit in the middle, and then whatever you need is on the other side. And then you're picking up something, trying to scoot it over or dragging around. So those smaller ones that go on each side, I really like those as far as toolboxes, not necessarily mounted underneath, but you don't want to take up all your bed either.
Yep.
I like the half V ones, but I think if I was going to splurge on anything, I'd splurge on something that would allow it to swing out.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Mm.
Nice. Kinky even. Yeah. See how quick you got fancy on us? You didn't even realize it, did you? Swing out toolboxes. What kind of, can you just imagine that? Richard doesn't lock the toolbox down, goes around the corner coming back from Adele, freaking toolbox is whipping out to the side or taking out mailboxes and shit. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Not just saying you, Ryber, anybody that could do that.
That
Yeah.
just happened. Something happened very similar to that just in the last 2 weeks, but I can't remember what it was.
Where was I the other day that I saw an actual horse box? Who does that anymore? You never, you used to be, you saw those all the time.
Like a stock rack? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you'll find this hard to believe, but one of my cousins just got a new one.
You got a new one. Outstanding. Yeah. Did you called it a horse box, Amy?
Just a stock rack or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess our county trapper has an actual box.
Okay.
For his mule.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we stock racks, man. Yeah, that was the way to go. Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't even know they were still making new stock racks. I haven't really looked. So that's cool too. Of course, if you want something bad enough, you can make it. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So what would you think the top 3 things you look for in a flatbed, Miss McNamee?
Me?
Yeah, I'm just curious what your buying decision tree looks like. I probably nice intersection of availability and price, I would think. But
yes, I was going to say, you know, price is going to be a driving factor for me.
mm-hmm. Are you willing to modify one if it's not specifically made for your year of pickup?
Actually, I have a good friend that's a fabricator, and I keep going back to that.
Mm. Oh, just make one?
He's done some really interesting ones. Yeah, homemade.
Yeah, well, not really homemade. If your friend's a fabricator, I'd say it's one step up from homemade.
Well, right, not homemade, not cobbled together homemade.
That'd
but
be
I
custom,
think,
yeah.
Yes. No, I haven't made up my mind yet.
I think it's funny because I know some people like that's the very some people just buy cab and chassis because they know instantly. And for you, if you play along at home, that means no bed on the pickup. It's just a cab and a frame because instantly it gets flatbed. Like that's rule number 1. Or sometimes they take the one off the old pickup that's pretty much dead, put it on the new one. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes they keep it intact, but like that's rule 1. Sometimes it's like a hat after you wear out the pickup for a while. Like this is no longer my town pickup. This is going to be the ranch pickup. And then it gets flatbed. Or you like just have this epiphany like Richard, like maybe I should get a flatbed and tear shit up in a new way. And so you do that. So some of it is you know, like my trailer doesn't get along with my new high bed pickup, you know, so because it's not built for people who haul anything in the back anymore. So, you know, that's the other factor.
And it depends on how much the insurance is paying for it.
There's that. There's also like, is somebody else looking for the pickup bed you happen to have coming off because they backed into something already? So there's a lot of factors, but yeah, I think it's that intersection of price and availability, which is always good. It's also sometimes it's just one of those things you're like, I'm just going to get that because I got a 2021 brand new Dodge pickup. So why am I going to get a $300 flatbed put on there? Maybe that's why I'm going to get a $300 flatbed because I bought a brand new pickup and, you know, I'm out $90,000. So there's that. Yeah. So yeah, who knows? But
my bank won't let me get any more.
Great topic though, I think, because it's definitely a handy tool. I think it really enhances the usability of a rig, especially. So
I know what I want.
Oh, got it.
Okay. It has to have a spare tire rack on the headache board. So you can put the spare tire on it, but it has to be above the toolbox in the saddle tank.
Gotcha.
I like the one where it has the little bucket that goes over the cab. So you can put stuff up there.
Yep.
But I'd also like to have a winch mount, like a hitch winch mount on the top on the headache rack, and then one built into the bumper.
It's like a receiver hitch winch.
Yes.
Yeah. On top. That's in so you can pull shit up onto your pickup. So you're thinking?
Yep.
Great for elk season.
Yes. Harumph. Yeah. Yeah. If you could get built-in ramps, that'd be even better, but there's usually not space for them to slide anywhere. But have you seen those? I've not seen a flatbed with built-in ramps.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen one. That would be neat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and 2x4 railings. Really basic.
On the side. Yeah.
I was going to ask what your preference would be. I look at these with the hinged railings that flop over, and you think that'd be just an excuse to rub.
That you're going to get shit in there, and it's not going to want to open back and forth. I think if it's got a hinge, it's going to get shit in it. And when I mean shit, I mean almost anything. But I think the one you could just pull out and stomp back in is probably the best. Yeah, because you can adapt that into
clean out your steak pockets.
Yeah, a lot of different. Usually, they should be hollow all the way to the ground at all times anyway, so there should be nothing in the bottom. But like, if you want like you got your town racks on, they're like 2 foot tall, so shit doesn't fly off. And then if you're, if you got R3 on the back, you want the 6 foot ones maybe. So, yeah, there's options.
You never know when you're going to use a 2x4 either to get unstuck or if you need to use it to put something.
Ooh.
They're easy, they're cheap to replace, and you can use them for multiple things like saddle strings.
There's that. A little deconstruction if needed. I like that too, Richard. Excellent. You just rip that whole side one off and cram underneath the tires. Yeah.
And if you hold your breath, you can use them for a four-wheeler ramp.
I was just gonna say, if you're getting fancy, yeah, build them to be your four-wheeler ramps already. Come on now, kids. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
It's amazing how we all thought about that about the same time. I worry about both of you. Yeah.
These that I'm looking at have D-rings built into the side, so you're not trying to attach your straps underneath the edge of the bed too.
Yeah, to the sides, maybe even some D-rings in the bed. That's a nice option if it's not covered up with shit too. Yeah. So, and then a good plate for your hitch is also good, or have the B&W one that pops down.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. You don't want that sticking up all the time. That's what she said. So, yeah. We have to have that at least once an episode, or I have not been a part of it. Yeah. So, just saying. Yeah. And there's somebody driving down the road going, these assholes have talked about flatbeds for like 25 minutes. Are you shitting me? You bet your ass, kids, because we can. Yeah.
This would have been a little taste of agro discussion back in the 90s.
100%. We've probably been to the chalkboard by now, drawing shit out. Like, dude, think about this. McGordy, listen. McGordy, don't worry about your hair. Listen, look at this. What if we did this? Yeah, like make the racks come out to be your ramps. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, like building the ultimate flatbed. Yeah, like. Dude, I think I saw some 2x2 stock out the experiment station. We could probably just go get that shit and build this thing. Yeah, like. That would be awesome. Yeah, this was definitely Ag Lounge discussion, which would quickly go to like, how many horse can you haul on the back of a good flatbed? And then it would just derail like even faster. Yeah.
Oh, we've barely gotten to Gary shutting his door.
Oh, yeah. Not even at all. Yeah. So
yeah,
not even at all. Yeah. How was your discussion? Didn't even have a Gary moment. Oh, well, that's too bad. Yeah. Maybe next time. Yeah. That's too funny. Awesome. Well, we will do some more investigation into this as well. Certainly, listeners, if you have thoughts and input, hell, if you've got a flatbed you're not going to get rid of, let us know. We might be able to find a home for it, because I know Rawls is looking for a flatbed. Richard's had an epiphany, and Amy brought it up. So there's at least 3 right there. If I didn't have a 4Runner, I'd probably be looking for a flatbed just for shits and giggles. So if I lived in Australia, I would put a flatbed on my 4Runner, just because I think it's probably state law down there. So, not to mention,
I think with Joel looking for a new pickup, it really needs to be something he's thinking about.
He should consider it as well, even though he doesn't really know what he wants to buy yet. He's probably going to get a Audi Quattro car, I'm guessing. Maybe a SUV. We'll see. But it'll be fun.
It's going to take a few years to ranch him up.
Yes, for sure. It's okay though. We're gonna get in there. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. I would like to go with Joel just to Tri-Cities to test drive cars. I think that's a GoPro moment right there too. Just because it would be great to watch that candy store, kind of a kid in a candy store, just like, yeah. Yeah, I keep sending him random, like there's a place in, I think they're in Rapid City, that sells a shitload of used pickups and stuff all the time. And they're on Instagram all the time. And like there was like a really nice like 2018 Cummins 6-speed crew cab. I'm like, here you go, Joel. You should just fly to Rapid City, buy this sumbitch, and keep on driving, brother. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm trying to drag him over to the dark side. So awesome. Well, yeah, again, guys, thoughts on the flatbeds, get them to us. We'll pass them along. If we have some more epiphanies, we'll share it out. So I know this is probably one of the more universal topics for the reachers. So let us know what you're thinking. And we're going to skip right on into the best thing of the week. Try to end on a happy high note. And look at that. We're almost to the 2-hour mark, even though there's only 3 miles yapping. We're still kicking it right along. Not bad at all, kids. Not bad at all. So, Richard, if you want to kick off your best thing of the week, I'd certainly love to hear what you have to say.
Well, I got to thank Amy for coming on and pitch hitting and the lack of Joel and Raleigh. So, really made it diversity is the spice of life. So, thanks for joining us. And
Absolutely.
Oh, this has been a good week. We got some cattle out to the desert. It's been a good week. It's really cool having my cousin here from DC and seeing Central or Oregon ranching through his eyes. Took him to
How old is your cousin?
He's 14.
Okay, cool.
Freshman.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, really willing. I had him try. We had a calf that. This is a good story. We had a calf that had a string tied around it. I don't know why, but thought maybe when we were feeding, we could sneak up and grab him and get the string off. So said, okay, we're gonna drive up to the calf. You're gonna get out of the pickup and you're going to try and catch him. So I'm going to explain more. That he doesn't have that. So it was a full-on stampoodle chase. Like keeping it just off the calf got away. He gave it a good 75-yard sprint trying to catch this calf who figured this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen and I'm just going to pick up more gears. I finally had to honk the horn to stop him. Anyways, just
always got to try. And that's what you need. You need to try.
Wasn't responding to down.
Wasn't responding to what?
Down.
Oh, damn it. Down, damn it. Down. Back.
Down.
Is he going to get to the point where, like, is this guy just messing with me now, or is this some shit I really should do? Yeah. Like,
when Rachel was 2.5, I was, he was out with me helping me at something, and he was somewhere doing something he wasn't supposed to, and I actually caught myself telling him to down.
In the same tone you use with your dog,
Yeah,
or were you
yeah.
being kind?
He didn't understand what I was talking about.
the dog's freaking out. Like, what the hell? I can't get any more down.
I
I'm
know.
already down. Yeah. It's like Super Troopers with your kid and your dog. I can't get any more. He's down already. He can't get any more down. Yeah.
This is why I don't have children.
Come, load up. Yeah.
Never tried it on the wife.
Get back.
Right on the wife. Yeah. She went to swinging. Yeah.
Oh,
She's,
that's bad.
Universal symbol at all. It's just works on border collies. And
turns out, yeah. These are the new segment, Hard Lessons Learned by Richard. Yes. Yeah.
Do you have one black eye or two?
She had to tell him twice. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I'll show you down, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Like, it's hilarious.
No.
I love it. Yeah. That's full on what dads do, though. Yeah.
The second thing that got me my second black eye is when I told her away from me.
And you can't even say at the time it seemed like a good idea. It was just like, what can I get away with? Yeah, like that ship already sailed, Yeah.
There must have been alcohol involved if that was a good idea.
No. Yeah.
No.
Oh, I can't wait to see Al next time. This is going to be extra fun. Yeah. Quality. Bradbury, thank you. I needed that. Yeah. Yes. Amer, do you have a best thing of the week for us?
Gosh, I am working in a town where I can go out to lunch. That's the high point of this. Yeah, that. And the best thing of next week is we are putting a fun. Can I do a little plug?
Yes,
I'm going to anyway.
Yeah,
we are doing a little
no
function.
Okay. Yeah.
Our little livestock association puts together a bull tour, which is full of bull on so many levels, but we get to have a get together with people and
awesome.
No masks next week and maybe learn something and have fun.
What day is that?
My project. That is Friday, April 16th at 8 a.m. beginning at the Tye Valley Fairgrounds.
8 a.m. Tye Valley Fairgrounds. You guys have a Facebook page, right?
We do. North Central Livestock Association.
Is that the best way to find out what's going on and who to contact and all that stuff?
Absolutely. I would love to get a few more team branding teams put together if anybody's interested. We're doing a dog demo. We have a couple.
Is a dog. Next.
It's a dog.
Down. Yeah.
Down, God damn it.
Sign me up. Yeah, exactly. Proper dog speak. Down. When you really mean it. Down, God damn it. Yeah, that's
tamed down version. But yeah, that's my excitement for the week.
That's pretty cool. You guys do a great bull tour. You guys put a lot of work into that. You got some good sponsors usually. I think it's a great deal that you guys are still doing that. And I know you missed it last year. So are you bringing your tater salad?
Heck yeah.
There we go. I should almost fly out just for that. Yeah. So
there you go.
Why not? Yeah. Yeah. So check out that Facebook page. Say it again, Amy.
North Central Livestock Association.
There we go.
We are Sherman and Wasco counties, the north part of Central Oregon.
And the central part too. Yeah. The northern part of the central, or the central part of the northern. That's what it is. It's the central part of the northern.
Just depends on your perspective.
Yeah, that varies. Yeah. Yeah. And so, was that Wasco and Sherman counties? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
It is. And we are sticking close to home this year. Years past, we've gone to other counties, but yeah, we're going to stick close to home and have great food and lots of people.
So it starts at 8. What times usually you kind of officially wrap up?
Well, we have our first stop at 9 o'clock on Juniper Flat. Womack
nice.
Then at 10, back to the fairgrounds by 1. Our dog demo, we're hoping to showcase a few people's bulls. Lunch at 1. Dog demo, team branding. Hopefully dinner by 5 or 6. And the great thing about our venue is Tye Valley has beautiful camping. So
awesome.
It could go all night.
Well, outstanding. Get some team building afterwards. Yes. Man.
There you go.
Yeah, executive team building sessions. Hard to beat that. Yeah. So if you're gonna go climb into a trailer though, make sure you're getting your own, because you could wake up in a strange place. This one at least
Might
close
be
to
a bad
home.
thing.
But yeah.
First big shindig after COVID could be dangerous.
Exactly.
Maybe it's not a bad thing to crawl into somebody else's trailer. You might meet somebody new. Who knows? Yeah.
Make new friends.
Herd immunity.
That's herd immunity right there. Yeah.
Yep.
I heard you had immunity. Oh, never mind. Yeah. So that's I done herded her back to the trailer, so I hope she's got immunity. There's all sorts of options. Yeah. So.
What happens at bull tour stays at bull tour.
Oh, it's like a mobile Las Vegas. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. You get up and leave early before everybody else. It never happened. Yeah. So
right. Oh, speaking of less, we are having a Calcutta on our team branding teams too.
Oh,
So
that's
there's
gotta
all
have
kinds
Calcutta.
of opportunities.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotta
that's
have
a
a
point.
Calcutta.
Gotta have
Yeah.
a cup.
If you have a Calcutta, you've got a good time. Yeah. Because you know what happens before the Calcutta. You got to get a little team building going on there too. Yeah. So it's perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Just my suggestion, anyways. Yeah. So
Yes, we're good at that.
awesome.
Team
Well, I'm glad
building.
you guys are having that again. And I know it takes a lot of work to get
Yeah.
that put on and all organized, especially during these chaotic times in the People's Republic of. So congratulations for getting that rolling and well done on making sure it happens again. So
Yep.
we'll even try to put a link right down here to the Facebook page. So that'll be
Awesome.
yeah, help folks get there if they want to. Plenty of time to still get signed up and find out where to be. And so even if you don't have bulls, come along. It's good team building. I think you'll have a good time, right?
Oh, absolutely. The cross section of people that show up is not typically good outreach to the non-ag folks. In
I
my
think
mind.
so too. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, all joking aside, we have a lot of fun, but there is some educational stuff, and it's educational for folks both inside and outside of the industry.
Yeah, I think it's a great deal, and I think it's something that we used to do all the time in a lot of like almost every county. This is like a spring deal, and I think as extension agents retired and moved on and everything else, and people kind of lost track of doing this kind of thing. And I don't mean to pick on extension agents, but this was one of the things they used to help organize a lot, because it was a good way to get everybody on the same page and have a little education at the same time. And so hopefully we can keep that running.
Absolutely. And we've gotten away from the extension a little bit. They're still fairly involved, but it gives us a little more leeway to really seek out good sponsorship, like Central Oregon Ranch Supplies buying all of our meat. We have Multi-Min. We've got, I need to talk to Ryan Corda. I haven't heard from him, but
wake him up. Yeah.
We've got great, we got about $10,000 in sponsorship this year.
Awesome.
So that's been good. Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear it. I'm glad you guys talk about it a little bit too. I think it's a good thing. So hopefully we can
thank you.
Spread the good word. Yeah. So awesome. Let's see. My best thing of the week, as usual, is rather random. And it's something I thought of early yesterday morning. And I thought, and I'm a stickler for alliteration. So that has a lot to do with what I do randomly. And so today was TV List Tuesday. And so, a lot of times I'll get up early in the morning and I'll watch the news or Fox or show I went to sleep last night or Sports Center or something. And then oftentimes I'll have sports on in my office. I have a 47-inch TV right here. It's also my other computer, but oftentimes it's got sports on it during the day or something else. Usually in the evening, I watch something else. No TV at all today. Some radio, read a lot, did some more work outside as usual, and just enjoyed a completely TV List Tuesday. Try to unplug as much as I could. I'm going to continue expanding that, maybe Facebook Free Friday or something like those, so I think that's healthy. I had a good conversation with somebody today about, one of the scariest things for some people is just being completely alone with themselves and their thoughts. And we both said that's actually pretty good most of the time. And that was one of the things that sparked this idea. And it's not always good to be alone with your thoughts, but I think we as people need to do that more often, because that's when just think how many hours in the day that you're distracting yourself from doing something else that's probably beneficial to you, and focuses your energy in a different way. So, just to sit on my Jimmy Buffett back porch and I read for a couple hours and just tried to I listened early this morning because Tuesdays here, there's a rock quarry several miles away, quite a ways away actually. Tuesday mornings is when they blow shit up. And I hadn't really listened to it since I've really been there. I used to think it was like a train or something because they blow off the siren and then it's just boom, 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 and it was like really cool at 5:30 this morning just to listen to that. It sounds weird, but it was like there's birds, there's quiet, and it just echoes throughout, and then you hear the horn and they're blowing shit up again. So it was just a cool day. So I really enjoyed it. And I missed Tucker Carlson tonight because I usually watch that before this, and that's sort of my news updates and finger on the pulse. But overall, I'm pretty happy I had the TV List Tuesday. So coming soon is probably going to be Facebook Free Friday, because I just like triple alliteration. How could I ever say no to that? So, you've been warned, I guess I'll say. So yeah. I don't know, anything else you guys have to add to those best things?
I get a kick out of a person who doesn't like to be alone. That's weird.
Dude, oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're many people. Yeah, like they can't deal. Yeah, that's not their thing, man, at all.
Some days when I was on the oil rigs and everything was drilling along good, and if everything was good, it could go for like a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
We would spend hours not even talking to each other. I mean, I guess we weren't technically alone, but we might as well have been. And
yeah, there was no interaction if there was, or you didn't have to say anything to interact. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Then I really savor I have the hour commute both ways, about an hour. Depends on how fast I want to do it. And it's one of my favorite times. I do have stuff on in the background, but
yeah,
most of the time it's zone out.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of alone time.
I've had those days before. Go ahead, Amber.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, you get so bombarded during the week. I think Sam last weekend said, let's go to town. And he is, granted, he's home by himself during the week.
Yeah.
I can't do it. You have to decompress.
Oh, for sure.
I go home on Friday evening and don't even want to pick up my phone.
I think I had some roommates for a while, and like my biggest, like, I actually would like decompress in the garage before I went in the house. Like, because when I went in the house, it was like they wanted to catch up with their day and all their stuff and their questions, and they're glad to see me. And that sounds cocky, but it's like, and I'd been like hyper mode all day long. And so like, I made it like a 20 or 30-minute ordeal for me to get in the garage and get my shit together mentally before I would go in the house, because it was way more successful for everybody around me when I came in the house after that, because I had dealt with the fact that I'm home now and I got to get ready for this. And it's good, it's nice, but I needed me. So yeah, even that 20 minutes was perfect to prepare for the bombardment. Yeah.
Of course,
I think everybody should have an hour commute.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's Raleigh, and he always needs to be surrounded by people.
Yes, he is a needy little people eater person. Yes. When you think Belle the Ball, you think Raleigh. Yes, that's for sure. Yeah. So it's that's awesome. But it's something to think about. If you don't do that, if you don't give yourself just some you time, like some people schedule, one of my friends, she schedules 45 minutes in the morning. She journals, she does a little bit of yoga or whatever. It's like her time before she gets to work or do anything else. And I think especially if you don't have a commute, like you work from home, let's say, either ranching or whatever, like you have an office job, like you work from home, like you need that regiment, you need that buffer. Like it's easy just to get up, grab a cup of coffee and walk into your office. Don't do that. You gotta have some you time to get your thoughts and just let them wander. Like you don't have to sit down and think about, I'm going to think about Pythagorean theorem this morning. Like just sit down and like let your brain wander off. And for me, that's pretty easy to do. Other people might have to, really drop the reins. Me, instantly it's gone, so that's good. That's great meditation. So, but yeah, it's important. So I started that off with TV Free Tuesday, and we'll see where that leads off, but something to think about. So what can you add? Take that and put it in your pipe and smoke it. Some bitches. Yeah. So I'm just saying. Anybody have anything else for the good of the order? The order? Gosh. Hey, Mr. Douglas. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Good time. Good to see you.
Thank you for jumping on with us. Thanks for the great suggestions on the flatbed for buying stuff. Thanks for the comments on the music, of course, which was much appreciated. But thanks for just always being a good listener, good feedback. Also, we appreciate that, and we help you with your commute to and from
You do. I shouldn't admit it, but I do. I get a kick out of you. I look forward to your podcast every week.
I shouldn't admit it. That's my favorite thing. That's the vast majority of my friends or listeners. God damn, I hate to admit this, but I really kind of like what you guys say. You know, well, I hate to have to put you through that admission, but thank you to you. Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, if there's nothing else, guys, remember we got the Richard book for next week, the Red Meat Republic. We'll have links hopefully down below as well. We'll have the link for Amy's Facebook. I'm getting better at putting things below. I got chapters and description, hopefully, of when we're doing stuff. So if you just want to skip ahead to a segment or you miss something, hopefully that helps out. And so that's for you guys and for us to kind of keep track of what we got going on. So we'll do that. So next week, we'll talk about Richard's Red Meat Republic. He'll have word of the week too. We've already taken Hoosegow off the potential list. So keep that in mind, my good sir. Again, if you guys got thoughts on word of the week, please get them sent in. If you have thoughts on buying stuff, send that in. If you have thoughts on people we should have on as guests or do a Far Reaches extra with, let us know. We do have an upcoming one planned with Amy and Shandy and hopefully another person for their Mongolian Death Derby coming up in a couple years. So we're going to have some follow up on that and hopefully get some more updates going on that. But until then, keep on reaching, have fun. We love what you guys think and say and help us do. And we couldn't be happy to be here for you. So until then, we'll let you get going and we'll see y'all damn soon. Thank you much.